Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome to MACFEST 2025. Salam to all our lovely guests. Especially warm welcome to everybody who's joined us earlier today and is coming back for this little marathon today. Today's event is International Poetry and Multilingual Mushaira. And I'm just going to quickly introduce our host for today, Jerome, who's taught at the University of Manchester since 2003. He's an expert in literature and culture with interest in history, games, television, and genetics. And I'm going to hand over to Jerome because we've got a lot of people today joining us on the panel. So over to you, Jerome.
Thank you so much and welcome everyone. It's very nice to have you all here wherever you are in the world and whatever the time is with you. Welcome. We're going to have a wonderful event of poetry in multiple different languages, some bilingual, some in single languages. We're going to hear verse in Urdu and Arabic and English and Bengali. This is how it's going to work. I'm going to introduce the first half. I'm going to introduce three speakers who are going to talk about or read their poetry, and then we're going to move to my colleague Rabina, who is going to introduce the more Mushaira aspect of the event, where we're going to hear more poetry in Urdu and in Bengali then. So yeah, I have three wonderful speakers today for you: Reem Farajala, Leyla Colman, and Maria Kamfak. And I'm going to introduce them each as to start, and then they're going to read their poems. And actually, Leyla is going to talk to us about a Turkish poet, a famous Turkish poet, to give us some interesting insight into that. So they're going to talk each for about around about 10 minutes. And as I say, we'll then have a shift after that. So our first poet is Reem Farajala, who's a counsellor and a therapist at the moment. She's working for her master's in counselling and psychotherapy. Excellent work. She's worked before as an Arabic teacher and to GCSE level, and holds a master's in interpreting and translating. And she's worked as an interpreter and translator between Arabic and English. Reem is currently based in Manchester, but is originally from Palestine. Hey, Reem, how are you going? It's nice to see you. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Thank you. My poem is called We Will Not Die in Silence, لن نموت بصمت. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Shall I start? لن أحدثكم عن أشلائها بل أحلامها، عن ضحكاتها التي كانت تملأ بيتا كان. اليوم لن أحدثكم عن واقع قاتم، عن هولوكوست ارتكب تحت صمت متواطئ، تبلع مئات الأطفال، تطحن عظام الشيوخ وتشوه النساء والرجال. عندما تصحون من مناماتكم لا يستيقظونهم من منامهم الطويل، فغالبا في الليل يغيبون. بينما تريحون أجسادكم من التعب تخطفهم آلة القتل، فلا يصرخون كثيرا ولا يزعجون. بينما تأكلون فطوركم وتشربون قهوة صباحكم يستيقظ الأحياء منهم ليبتدون معركة جديدة، ربما تنتهي بانتصارهم، بالبقاء أحياء أو بتصفيتهم. عندما تخرجون لأعمالكم وتحملون أبناءكم إلى مدارسهم، يخرج أطفالهم بحثا عن بقايا أشياء يشعلون بها نارا لطبخهم أو يحملون ماء لشربهم. لا أحد يزاحمكم في الطوابير. هل سمعتم عن معسكرات اعتقال، عن مخيمات يخيم الموت فوق رأسها وتصرخ آلاته ليل نهار؟ هل سمعتم عن طيور تجلب الموت؟ هل أخبروكم عن الزنانات؟ عن تطورت تكنولوجيا الموت كثيرا بعد الحروب العالمية، لذا سترون أشياء جديدة لن ترونها إلا في غزة. ربما يثير دهشتكم أو اشمئزازكم معرفة أن الذكاء الاصطناعي تم تسخيره لقتل أكبر عدد ممكن من الأطفال. نعم، لا تستغربوا، محرم قتل السناجب وقتل العصافير، لكن يسمح بقتل عشرات بل آلاف الأطفال لعامين أو أكثر. لم تتوقف الحرب بعد ولا ندري أين ستتوقف. ما زلنا لا نعرف هل ستتم الإبادة الجماعية بنجاح دون أن تبقي أو تذر، أم ستتغلب الإنسانية وتكبل الوحش المسعور. نحن في عصر الممكن، عصر القوانين الدولية والإنسانية التي تطبق فقط على بعض الناس، عصر حقوق الإنسان الذي يمنع تأديب الأطفال أو إهمال هندامهم أو طعامهم، لكنه يسمح بحصار آلاف منهم خلف جدار عازل يمنع عنهم الماء والدواء. كنت أريد أن أحدثكم عن سلمى التي نزحت من بيتها الجميل وغرفتها وألعابها وسكنت مدرسة. أحبت مدرستها كثيرا، لكنها لم ترجو أن تقيم في مدرسة تنام على أرضها القاسية ثم تصحو على قصف يحرق بعضا من جيرانها. سلمى الآن تكره المدرسة وناقمة على كل مدارس العالم التي لم تعلم البشرية ألفباء الإنسانية. لكن سلمى أفضل من ندى، فتلك الصديقة انتهت مع أسرتها في خيمة في الجنوب، وذات ليلة بعد أن تخطت رعبها وأصوات القصف حولها غمضت عينها أخيرا، فكانت استراحتها الأبدية. أحرقت الخيمة ومن تحتها ولم تستيقظ الأسرة. رأى العالم بقايا كرسي متحرك للشقيق المعاق الذي احترق حيا، لكن العالم لم يثر ولم ينهض النيام في الجانب الآخر من السور. هل قلت السور؟ نعم. نعم، في عام 2025 هناك أسوار، جدران خراسانية عالية تحكمها تكنولوجيا متقدمة جدا، لا أحد يستطيع الدخول أو المغادرة، حتى العصافير تحترق إن اقتربت من تلك البقعة. هي ليست دولة يا سادة، إنما عشرات كيلومترات يمارس عليها الحصار والتجويع والتفجير ليل مساء. لا أستطيع إخباركم كم يقطن معسكر القتل هذا، فالعدد ينقص كل يوم. هل يذكركم هذا بشيء؟ هل يشبه هذا شيء قرأتم عنه في كتب التاريخ؟ سأترك لكم فرصة البحث، ورسالتي لكم من أصدقائي في غزة تقول: إن كان لابد من الموت فلن نموت في صمت. That was the Arabic, and then the English translation is, sorry, I'm reading from my screen. I won't tell you of her torn limbs, but of her dreams, of laughter once filling a house that once stood whole. Today, I want to speak of the darkened truth of a Holocaust committed in complicit silence that swallows children by hundreds, crushing elders' bones, scaring women and men alike. While you awake from gentle sleep, they do not stir from their eternal one, they vanish by night. While you rest your weary limbs, the killing machine snatches them soundlessly, no screams, no noise. As you sip your morning coffee, the living among them rise to face another battle, to survive another day, or to be erased. You drop your children at school, they search with theirs for scraps to burn, to cook a meal, to carry water. No one crowds your bathroom doors, but they must queue for hours. Have you heard of camps of detention, of tents where death hoves, where is a voice screams day and night? Have you heard of bears that bring death, of drones that buzz like locust? Death ticks has advanced. You will see things in Gaza you will find nowhere else. It may disgust or astound you that artificial intelligence has been summoned to kill as many children as possible. You don't be shocked. Killing squirrels or sparrows is forbidden, but killing tens of thousands of children over years allowed. The war has not ended, and we don't know where it will. Will genocide succeed and leave none behind, or will humanity awaken and shackle the rabid beast? We live in the age of possible, of international law, of human rights that apply only to some. An age where neglecting a child's lunch is a crime, but denying water and medicine to thousands behind a wall is policy. I wanted to tell you of Salma, who fled her lovely home, her room, her toys, to live in a school. She once loved her school, but never wished to sleep on its hard floor or wake to bombs burning her neighbors. Now Salma hates school and every school in the world that failed to teach humanity its ABCs. Yet Salma is luckier than Nada. That friend fled with her family to a tent in the south one night after fear and the falling bombs. She closed her eyes and never opened them. The tent burned while her inside. None of them woke again. The world saw a scorched wheelchair, her brothers, but the world did not stir. Nor did the sleepers on the other side of the wall. Did I say wall? Yes. In 2025, there are still walls. High concrete barriers ruled by cutting-edge tech. No one enters, no one leaves. Even the birds burn if they approach. It isn't a state, dear sirs, but dozens of kilometers of siege, starvation, nightly explosions. I cannot tell you the number in that death camp. It drops by the day. Does it remind you of something you read in your history books? I leave you to search, and from my friends in Gaza, the message is this: if we must die, we will not die in silence.
Thank you, Reem. Wonderful poem.
Thank you for listening.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you so much for that. And it was wonderful in both languages. So our second speaker this afternoon, sorry, it's afternoon with me, excuse me, is Leyla Colman, who's a Turkish-American poet and translator based in London and also New York. She received her master from Goldsmiths, University of London in 2023. Leyla has received an Academy of American Poets undergraduate prize, the Gulf Coast Prize for Poetry, and fellowships from the University of Pittsburgh and the Adroit Journal. And her work has appeared in Magma Poetry, Poetry Daily, Best New Poets, and elsewhere. She's a follower of that Naqshbandi way. So Leyla, you have a presentation, I think, for us.
Okay, can everybody see all right?
Absolutely.
Yes?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah, it is a real Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, first of all. It is a real pleasure to join MACFEST for the second year now in a row. Thank you for the introduction, Jerome. Thank you, Ghaith, for inviting me back. It's also my real privilege to speak to you all about a very famous Turkish poet who is less well known in the European context, called Yunus Emre. He is from the around 13th century in our calendar. He belongs to a tradition of folk poetry that is primarily oral. So his work hasn't quite had the reach of written poets from Anatolia, like Rumi, for instance, very very famous poet Rumi. Before introducing some of Yunus Emre's work, I want to give a little bit of background about the Turkish poetic tradition. It's a tradition that runs off in two directions, basically. On one hand, we have the courtly poets, these are persons who were in the service of either the Sultan, or they were in the service of local beys or aghas. They wrote primarily in a language called Osmanlıca, which is the Ottoman Turkish that combines elements of Turkic languages, Persian languages, some Arabic. It's a very rich written tradition. They wrote, the divans, like Rumi's Diwan-e Shams-e Tebrizi is one such diwan. Commonly called Quran in Persian, but in Persian, or the Masnawis. And these are sometimes you would hear them set to music, or they would be recited in the context of formal listening sessions, auditions, known as sama. As I had mentioned, these are people of patronage, people who are primarily urban. They included jurists, Islamic jurists, secular bureaucrats, courtiers, but also urban mutasawwuf, Sufis, such as Rumi and his students. They primarily were adherent to a quote-unquote mainstream Sunni Islam. This is including the Sufi tariqas, often in the Persianate tradition. And some examples of this, particularly flourishing during the height of the Ottoman period in 16th century, where Hamdullah Hamdi, who wrote an excellent version of the story of Yusuf and Zulaykha, Mihri Hatun, one of the few examples of female courtly poets in this period, Isa Nejati. And you also have characters who are very famous like Fuzuli and Baki, who wrote surprisingly secular work that is hard to place within the context of Muslim poetry as such. On the other hand, and running parallel to this tradition, you have a tradition of folk poetry that, not written in Osmanlıca, was instead written in Old Anatolian Turkish or Azeri Turkish. And these are existing mostly in folk songs and in oral tradition, many of which are actually still popular today. You hear, new either folk singers or even pop singers in some cases giving new interpretations of a lot of these works. These people did not have a patronage. They were roaming, itinerant bards, if you like, and many of them were, in fact, somewhat persecuted in their time. Imad ad-Din Nasimi is a particularly famous example who, in the early 1400s, was executed quite graphically in Aleppo. Now, these were also tended to be people of tasawwuf, but more in the tradition of less in the formal metaphysical tradition and more in the tradition of love, the tradition of the abdals and ashiqs, the bards of love. Their religion is a little bit more nuanced. They were on the frontiers of the Islamic world. They were in more rural contexts, and they took some syncretic borrowings, even from pre-Islamic Turkic traditions, and also have some inflection from the Shiite tradition, from the Alawi tradition, from the tradition of Hajj Bektash Wali. The first of these was known as Ahmed Yasawi, who took Islam to current-day Kazakhstan, and his tariqa, the Yasawi tariqa, is still very active there. Yunus Emre came in the 1400s, or 1300s rather, and was in close dialogue with Rumi, for instance. Later, we had figures like Nasimi, Pir Sultan Abdal, and later still in the Renaissance period, Karacaoğlan, who's extremely famous and whose songs you hear still today. If you're looking for a point of reference, if you say the Rumi is the urbanite focus of Turkish poetry, Yunus Emre is the poet of the countryside and the poet of the folk people. He comes from an interesting background and an interesting the temporal and cultural context that is important to understand his work. In this period, he came when the Mongols were invading the Muslim world and had already conquered most of what's currently Iran. So we had a lot of them had converted. A lot of them had accepted Islam, and but they came from far outside of the Islamic heartland. They had very little knowledge of Deen, but they were still drawn, by Iman, by the faith, and the da'wah to them, their conversion was mostly done at the hands of these wandering, Sufistic abdals and ashiqs. And this really contributes to, this influx of new believers really contributes to Yunus Emre's approach. He is himself clearly a man of tasawwuf. He's a Sufi, if we like. He's connected to a takke, an order or lodge, led by who he claimed a man called Tabtuk Amre, who is supposedly a spiritual master of Turkmen origin who fled from Khorasan in currently eastern Iran when it was invaded by the Mongols. It is possible that this Tabta Kamre is a man of his own invention. It's said, to give you a sense of his character, that Yunus Emre carried wood to this sheikh's dergah in central Anatolia for 40 years before embarking on his own poetic mission. He belongs very firmly to the love tradition in Tasawwuf, in which the love of God, we say Rahman Rahim, the grace and the gracious, the absolute mercy and the merciful. And this is the love that undergirds not only our relationship to God, but the metaphysical substrate of the universe is love. He belongs very much to this tradition. He traveled very widely, and his vernacular style was instrumental in not only formulating Turkish literature, but Turkish language as a whole. And you can see he still is on the 200 lira, 200 Turkish lira even today. I have a few of his poems that I will read in Turkish. You are welcome. I invite you to follow along in my English translation. It's a somewhat envious task, a somewhat unenviable rather task to explain his poetry. He doesn't leave a lot to say, despite his very vernacular and straightforward approach. And this accounts for his presence, his titanic presence in Turkish literature. One of his most famous poems is as follows. Aşkın aldı benden beni, bana seni gerek, seni. Ben yanarım dün günü, bana seni gerek, seni. Ne varlığa sevinirəm, ne yokluğa yerinirəm. Aşkın ile avunuram, bana seni gerek, seni. Aşkın aşklar öldürür, aşk denize daldırır. Tecelli ile doldurur, bana seni gerek, seni. Aşkın zincirini üzem, dili olan daha düşem. Sensin dün günen dişem, bana seni gerek, seni. Eğer beni öldüreler, külüm göğe savuralar, toprağın anda çağıra, bana seni gerek, seni. Sufilere sohbet gerek, ahilere ahiret gerek, mecnunlara Leyla gerek, bana seni gerek, seni. Ne tamuda yer eğledim, ne uçmakta köşk bağladım. Senin için çok ağladım, bana seni gerek, seni. Cennet, cennet dedikleri, bir evli birkaç huri isteyene vergil hani, bana seni gerek, seni. Yunus çağırırlar adım, gün geçtikçe artar odum. İki cihanda maksudum, bana seni gerek, seni. It is you I need, is you, he addresses God. One of the things that I would draw your attention to is this curious use that he makes to these places, Tamu and Uçmaq. These are pre-Islamic conceptions of the heavens and the earth and the underworld. He has made no home above and has made no place below. He wants to go directly to God, and this sort of syncretism is unique among the Turkish poets. It is somewhat questionable with respect to the Sharia, but it is characteristic of their work and was characteristic of their da'wah to Central Asia, where Islam continues to flourish today. You see this poem is quoted on his a monument to him in Karaman in Anatolia. I see I'm slightly short on time, so I will read, let's see. Yeah, we will do this one and then we will wrap up. This is borrowing from the love tradition very, very heavily, you will see. Ey aşıgan, aşk mezhebe dindir bana. Gördü gözün dost yüzünü, yaz kamu dühündür bana. Eğrük bize yas eylemez, gönlümüze pas eylemez. Hak'tan gelen göklü avaz, andan gelen ündür bana. Eğrük bana ben dimem, kimes niye sen dimeyem. Ya kul ya sultan dimeyem, kalsın işidenler tana. Senden sana varır yolum, senden seni söyler dilim. Allah sana ermez elim, bu hikmete kaldım tana. Ben aşkından ırılmayım, dergahından sürünmeyim. Bundan daha gidersem senin ile varam sana. O dost biri biri var dünyaya bir gör dedi. Geldim gördüm bir arayış, seni seven kalmaz ana. Kullarına vedeyledi, yarınki gün görünem dedi. O dostların sevindiği yarının bir gündür bana. Dost ışka ulaşlıdan dünya ahiret bir oldu. Ezel ebed sorarsan dün ile bir gündür bana. He says, lovers, the madhab of love, the jurisprudence of love is my religion. My eyes have seen the face of the beloved, and the grief is celebration to me. He arrives, by directly through the love of God, not asking for the blessings of paradise as such, but simply asking to be reunited in His Rabb, in Allah. And this has a great appeal within the Islamic world today, and is instrumental in bringing the deen to people all across Central Asia. I'm happy to take any questions or any comment about Yunus Amre. It is a real pleasure to share his work with you. And thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much, Leyla. Well, as Harmesh says in the chat, what an insight into this culture and poetry. So thank you so much for introducing us to this.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What I think we'll do is, if there are questions for Leyla, please do put them into the chat, but we'll move on to Maria, and then we'll come back to Leyla if there are questions thereafter, if that's okay with you guys. So our final reader in this part of the event is Maria Kenfak, who is a Muslim revert, originally from Cameroon. And Maria enjoys writing poetry in between homeschooling her children and tutoring online. So Maria, I'm handing over to you now.
Thank you. My name is Marie, and like it was said, I like to write poetry, but I specialize specifically in healing through writing, because I noticed that keeping things in our mind is a kind of killer compared to letting things out of our mind. It helps sometimes with problem solving, but it also helps to kind of heal, especially emotionally. So I will start with a poem, like to give an example of what I'm talking about, and then I'll end with a positive note, if I can say it that way. So one of the poems that I wrote, I entitled it Worn, like WORN, feeling worn. It's like a symptom of an illness. My body acts weird. It's restless. I eat to soothe myself but don't feel full. I feel worse, not better, until I investigate. My body is crying for some sleep. The kids are crying for attention. I can't go to bed. I give my body a snack instead and hope it will forgive me. It takes the snack but doesn't need it. It stores the fat from the unwanted food. Soon it becomes obvious I now have a double ordeal: lack of sleep and weight issue. So that was one. Like another one still about healing through writing. My body is crying for help. My tummy muscles are apart. I can't carry my shopping safely without a shapewear. My pelvis is weak. I can't push and pull loads without a support bell. My bladder is weak. I empty it 4 times each night. My mind used to say, jump, and my body will say, how high? Now, when my mind says jump, my body says, who? Me? The next one is also a form of healing, but it takes a different turn. I entitled this one, My ADHD Brain and Islam. The best thing happened to me. I became Muslim. I used to forget about God, though He is my invisible best friend. I used to forget about him when something new or exciting was happening and was getting my brain's full attention. Now, with the 5 daily prayers, there is no way I can forget to talk to my invisible best friend. He knows my brain. He knew how much I love him. He guided me to the path that will keep our bond stronger. The next one is more like a series of maybe 4 poems that 4 to 5 poems that I wrote with the title The One and Only. So these ones are about God. Okay, so this is one of them. I tend to avoid causing discomfort. I don't mention him enough. He's a treasure I want to share, but I'm worried people are allergic. I should be bold enough. I should be proud enough. I should be unapologetic. I shouldn't ask for approval, but why do I feel I have to? Why don't I just talk about him like I would about anything else? Does one mention food to food lovers only? Do I really need a specific gathering to praise him? Now, this is another one. God is my solicitor. He wins all my battles, he wins all my cases for me. He reassures me and expects full trust. He says, they plan and I plan, but I'm the best of planners. My enemies are the closest people to me. They know the ins and outs of my life. They are meant to protect me, but there is a sickness in their heart. It's sometimes jealousy, sometimes envy. They love me and hate me in turns. They smile at me and plot behind my back. They lurk and wait for opportunities. They encounter failures but never give up. And an encouraging quality, but for the wrong cause. So the fact that they use that skill of being kind of persistent, I'm saying it's an encouraging quality, but it's for the wrong cause. Haven't they reflected and got it yet? Don't they know the reputation of my solicitor? Another one. Did I mention how much I love him? Can I quantify such love? Can I borrow from others and say, I love him to the moon and back, or that I love him to bits, or that I love him more than life itself, or that he is the air I breathe, or shall I find words to describe what he is to me? He's the source of my peace. He's the reason for my happiness. He keeps my emotions in check. He shields me from the arrows of life. He walks me to the right pastures. He always makes time for me. He never lets me down. He's patient and encouraging. All this to say, I'm grateful, in love, and in need of him. The last one about God is, let's see. Okay. Was it the last one? I think it was the last one. So the next one is, shall I say, I should close with 2 poems. One is about life and how to deal with life, or life and our body. Life is precious. Your body is a gift. Appreciate every moment. Don't sit with painful memories too long. Your body won't thank you for it. Don't overuse any part of your body. It will let you down when you need it the most. Release stress. Don't let it accumulate. And there will be no room for chronic diseases to settle in. Listen to your body. It will tell you how to take care of it. And you will enjoy the life you have been gifted with. The last one is entitled Thank You. We go on saying thank you, and why wouldn't we? Water flows freely from the sky, quenching the thirst of the earth, growing our crops faster than our fertilizers. We go on saying thank you, and why wouldn't we? The sun shines on all of us, bringing us hope, warming our hearts, teaming with the moon to make sense of time. We go on saying thank you, and why wouldn't we? Even in sickness, we have moments of peace. Even in hardship, we have moments of ease. Even in war, we have moments of solidarity, checking on one another across continents. We go on saying thank you, and why wouldn't we? Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Marie. That's really wonderful. And you're getting lots of really nice comments in the chat that I would really recommend you look at, because people are very appreciative of your poems. Thank you so much to Reem, Leyla, and Marie for their wonderful work so far. I'm just going to introduce Salma Zaman, who's going to talk to us a little bit about her work with Huddersfield Literature Festival, and also, as a added bonus, read her some of her poems as well. So Salma is part of the Huddersfield Literature Festival panel, but she's also an award-winning author. She writes particularly children's books. So although she told us earlier today she's writing her first novel at present, she's a teacher, but she's also written a colouring book and a poetry book, which she's going to talk to us a little bit now. But she's also going to, as I say, introduce us to the work of the Huddersfield Literature Festival as well. So Salma, how are you? Where are you?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Hello.
Welcome.
Firstly, thank you for having me, and it's lovely to be here. And what an impressive poetry, and everybody sharing their poetry in different languages. It's been really, really great experience for me personally. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Huddersfield Literature Festival. So when I think about the Huddersfield Literature Festival, I always think about that there is something for everybody. It doesn't matter what age you are. So Huddersfield Literature Festival holds an annual event with the community, accessibility, diversity, inclusivity at its heart. And this is why I feel really grateful and lucky to be part of the festival, and I do quite a lot of workshops for the festival, but I'm really proud that I am part of the panel, because diversity inclusion is embedded in the core of the thinking of the festival. And in 2022, the festival did win the Accessible and Inclusive Award as part of the Yorkshire Post Tourism Award ceremony. So that was like amazing. So yeah, annual event, lots of authors from up and down the country. They will put on activities and workshops for children, online events, creative workshops, send workshops, which I think is incredible. And they don't just put send workshops on, but they make sure they have the right teacher that's going to have that understanding of when you're working with send children and families, somebody with the knowledge and understanding of how they can be extremely inclusive. So for example, some of the communicative tools used when you're working with children with additional needs could range from cause and effect, the picture exchange communication system, intense interaction, that non-verbal communication. And it's very rare and hard actually to find some teachers that specialize in all those art forms. So when the Huddersfield Literature Festival puts on something like that, I think that is really, really incredible. So hat off to Michelle Hodgson. So yeah, lots of authors. I love being part of the festival and doing some workshops for them, as I already mentioned. And one of the things that I really appreciate is that it's quite low cost. They don't have extortionate prices like £40, £30 a ticket. They're really reasonably priced, and some of the events are completely free of charge, which I think, again, inclusivity and accessibility, and I'm really proud of that. So I'm going to share one of the recent brochures, because as we speak, some workshop events are taking place. So recently Lorraine Kelly came down, which was amazing. I went to that. It was just super amazing. She shared a lot of knowledge, a lot of understanding. And then we have South Asian authors present. We've got Joanne Harris, we've got Rachel Joyce, we had Jackie Kay yesterday, and we have in Bollywood in a couple of weeks, which we lots of light bulbs changing, which is going to be lots of fun. So yeah, that is the Huddersfield Literature Festival. We do have one gentleman on the panel. We are kind of working on getting more men on board, but it is quite woman-centered at the moment, so lots of woman power as well within that. So yeah, so that's the Huddersfield Literature Festival. So I'm also going to share a little bit on my first poetry book, which is called Hello Friend. And I was saying earlier on, obviously, given what's happening around the world, I'm Pakistani, I'm a Muslim, and my best friend for over 30 years was called Sajid Kaur. She was a Sikh woman, and we fondly called her Denise. And unfortunately, when she passed away, I had to channel my sort of grief and my friendship. That was, it'll always be there, but not being able to physically see her, talk to her, I had to channel my grief somehow, and I wrote a poetry book. So I'm going to share 3 short poems with you, if that's okay. So one of them that I'm going to share is called Sip Up Friendship, because we used to chat and drink loads of tea. Brewing a cup in moments of calm, our friendship grew, stirring warm, in a kettle's plea, a cup of comfort for you and me. So that was my first one. That was when we were getting to know each other. We did have a fallout once, and this is in relation to that, but it focuses on how resilient we were, even though we had a little fallout. Though time may pass and wounds may heal, the memory of that rage remains surreal. In the silence that followed lay a wounded heart, still beating, not needing to restart. And then the last one I am going to read for you is quite a painful one for me, because I did realize that she wasn't really going to be with us for much longer. And this just shot out from here. And I've named it Initial Pain. Grieving you, an award I accept without a standing ovation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sama, and thanks for letting us know about the Huddersfield Literature Festival. I'm going to put the links to the festival into the chat when we moved on to the next section. But thanks everyone who are part of. Am I muted? No, I'm not. Sorry. Who's been part of my section of this wonderful event so far? So thanks to Reen, to Leyla, to Marie, excuse me, and to Salma. I'm now going to introduce you to my colleague Rabina Khan, who's going to be taking us through to the end of the wonderful event, and she's going to be introducing the more Mushaira aspect of this, but she'll talk to you about what that means in a moment. So Rabina is a seasoned media professional with over 2 decades of experience. She's a poet and an anthropologist who believes in the power of dialogue to uncover the true essence of truth. She's a dedicated advocate for the promotion of her native language through Mushaira, that is poetic symposium and cultural engagement. And she's also an avid reader, goes to the gym a lot, goes swimming, and is a wellness advocate as well. So Rabina is a fab person. So here she is to take you through to the rest of the event. Rabina, hi.
Hi, how are you? Great. Thank you so much, Jerome, for presenting a beautiful first part of the Mushaira. And thank you for your kind words. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. So here, I want to thank you, Kesra Shiraz, as well, who is not only a good, kind human being and a friend, but she's novelist, educationist, and peace and culture and gender champion. And of course, she's a founder and executive director of MACFEST. So today I'm here to host a second part of Eid celebration with the Multilingual Mushaira. So thank you everyone for being here. And I must say that is such a beautiful, peaceful, knowledgeable afternoon that we all are having right now. So I'm here to host the second part, as I said. And this is like Mushaira's tradition. The one who hosts the Mushaira presents his or her, own poetry first of all. So I'll take the pleasure of presenting my own poetry first of all. You have to, bear with me a little bit, and then I will, invite other participants to present their own poetry in their respective languages. So first poem I'm going to read is obviously in Urdu. Urdu is my language. I'm from Pakistani Muslim. So first of all, I'll read as it is in Urdu and I'll explain this in English as well. So तजवीज़ इसका नाम है सोचती रहती हूँ मैं अक्सर सोचती रहती हूँ मैं अक्सर कैसे उसकी याद भुला दूँ आँखों से आँखों की बातें दिल से दिल के वादे थे ना कोई खत है ना तस्वीर जिसके पुर्जे पुर्जे कर दूं जहन से सारे नक्श मिटा दूं दिल जिंदा है अब तक शायद जिसमें यादें रहती हैं कुछ ना कुछ तो करना होगा अपने आधे टूटे दिल को आज मुकम्मल तोड़ना होगा. So this was the first poem, and its a title is Tajweez, main suggestion, and meaning of this poem is like I always think about you, the beloved, and I just keep thinking how can I forget him or how can because I don't have any like conventional relation like if we say we write letters to our beloved or we have some pictures, so I don't have any conventional thing. So what can I do? Only thing I can do is this is the suggestion to my heart. Suggestion is the title of the poem as well, that uh, Yade means memories live in my heart, and I have to break my heart completely so that those memories should go away. And that's the only suggestion to myself, to from my brain to my heart, that you have to completely break your heart and then rebuild it again, maybe. So that was the first poem, and then this was a little bit of like you say a romantic one. और अब मैं एक और उर्दू पोएम है जो मैं आपके लिए पढ़ने जा रही हूँ. It's like just opposite to the romance, or it's like a finding or searching for reality, the second poem, and it says like नए सफर पर निकल पड़ी हूँ नए सफर पर निकल पड़ी हूँ हैरतें मेरी ज़ादे राह हैं दिल गरिफ्ता बदन दरीदा दिल गरिफ्ता बदन दरीदा लाल आंखें रास्तों से उलझ पड़ी हैं मैं आसमां भी जमीन भी हूँ समंदरों की अमीन भी हूँ मैं आग भी हूँ खाक भी हूँ बुलंद बाला पस्त भी हूँ कहीं फूल हूँ कहीं खार हूँ होश भी और खुमार में भी बादलों पे तैरती नमी हूं मैं पत्थरों पे खाक सी जमी हूं मैं कुन फयकुन के अमल से गुजरी हजार खानों में बट गई हूँ जिंदगी के खेल में रक्स करती हूँ झूमती हूँ खामोशियों में भी गूंजती हूँ और बेसिमत गुजर रही थी जब तो जिंदगी मर रही थी तब मैं रास्तों के पेचो खम में एक मंजिल को ढूंढती हूँ पता मिटा दे या मिटा बता दे वजूद हस्ती निशाने हस्ती. So in this
Wow,
poem, yeah, I need Wawa as well.
well
Truly,
done, you.
truly. So it says for other, participant that I am now. I have started a new journey to my life, and now I'm searching the meaning of life, and I find myself like I am everywhere. I can find myself, I can feel my presence even on the clouds on the sky, and I can feel the wetness of clouds. I can feel that I am the dust of which is on the stones and on rocks. I can feel myself everywhere, in the oceans, in the deserts, in the air, in the height, in the lowest, everywhere I can find. And now I'm just thinking, where am I? So I'm requesting God, please tell me who I am, what's the purpose of myself, and what I am really. So this is a journey, and this journey is, I think, everybody's inside. It just reside inside what we are, apart from all those topics and stuff. So we keep thinking about our presence in this world. So poetry is all about thinking and emotional and everything. So that was my poetry, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you like it, or maybe a little bit like it, or what. So anyway, now I'm going to invite. Actually, it's not an invitation because it we are going to play a little video. So our first participant and of Mushaira is a famous poet from New Delhi in India. She's a translator as well, and she has translated Kaisa Shiraz, director of MACFEST, The Holy Woman in Urdu. That was Kaisra's first novel. I still remember when that novel was published, and we have so many launches of new book. So I still remember Kaisra. That was an amazing, like thing for every one of us to see the book and the novel, and then Kaisra didn't stop, and she's still mashallah, writing a lot of fictions and novels, and doing a lot of work in MacFest as well. So she has, translated The Holy Woman in Hindi and Urdu, and her name is Zakia Ji, and here we have more about her in this video. Please watch.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute pleasure to introduce Begum Zakia Zaheer from New Delhi, who will be reading some of her own poems for us today. Zakia comes from a heritage, a really rich heritage of poetry writing, and she carries this legacy very lightly, and the way she can come up with this hazir jawabi in shairi, the way she can quote from wonderful poets of the past, it's just natural that she also has written some incredible work. So this evening I'm asking her to read some of her poetry for you, and also tell us a little bit about her great grandfather, who's who was a champion for women's rights in the 1820s. He actually set up a school for where young girls could go and study. So this is something that she carries, this legacy with her. She'll tell us a little bit about it and then read her poem. So over to you, Zakia Appa. Please continue. Please tell us a little bit.
Thank you very much. Maulana Ali, who is my great grandfather, started the first school for girls in India in 1820. And that time there were no schools for girls, and men thought there was no need for any school for girls. So he started the first school in his own house. But in India, women are not treated very kindly. They still have, I think in many countries it happens, but women were still like second class, third class citizens, and they were not given the place that they belong to, that they should have. With a few more stanzas I will read out to you. मैं कि एक औरत हूँ, जिंदगी की अजमत हूँ, मुझसे नस्ल आदम है, एतबार आलम है. Now women are something to be just dismissed, but it is not so. She says herself, मुझसे नस्ल आदम है, एतबार आलम है, and then she feels very happy with herself and says, मैं गुलाब की खुशबू, मैं शबाब का जादू, मैं चमक सितारों की. The self-confidence is coming in her, self-appreciation. मैं चमक सितारों की, जान हूँ नजारों की, फूल भी और खंजर भी मैं हूँ एक हसी तितली, शाखे गुल मेरे बाजू, कायनात मुझसे है, दिस वर्ल्ड इज ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ मी, कायनात मुझसे है, ये हयात, ये जिंदगी, ये हयात मुझसे है, मैं कि एक औरत हूँ। मैं हूँ एक हसी तितली, शाखे गुल मेरे बाजू, मैं हवा भी बादल भी, एक खूबसूरत छागल भी, मैं घटा भी छागल भी, ऐसे कितने अफसाने अपने और बेगाने रोज ही सुनाते थे, दिल मेरा लुभाते थे, पर उनको सुन के जाने क्यों, लफ्ज चुन के जाने क्यों, मैं झूम झूम जाती थी, खुद में कब समाती थी, हर्फ की नवा में हूँ, सांस की सदा में हूँ, दाव पर भी लगती हूँ, जान दाम करती हूँ, सांस की सदा हूँ मैं, लेकिन कायनात मुझसे है, ये हयात मुझसे है, आफताब की गर्मी, माहताब की खूंटी, रोशनी का धारा भी, सब फिरोज ही बदलोग मुझसे ये सुनाते थे, जिनको सुन के जाने क्यों, जिन पर लफ्ज चुन के जाने क्यों, झूम झूम जाती थी, खुद में कब समाती थी, दाव पर भी लगती थी, मैं खुशी की मंजिल पर पहला कदम रखती थी, मैं कि एक औरत हूँ, महफिलों में सजती हूँ, मंडियों में बिकती हूँ, आज सरजमीन सूरत में आईना दिखाया है, नींद से जगाया है, मैं कि एक औरत हूँ, महफिलों में सजती हूँ, अब क्या हो रहा है, महफिलों में सजती हूँ, घुंघरुओं में बजती हूँ, सांस सांस करती हूँ, बेदरबरा और बेमतलब अपनी मर्जी करने पर मैंने गोलियां खाई, लड़की होने के बायस दम घुटा मैं पाती हूँ, खबर में समाती हूँ, मैं कि एक औरत हूँ, घुंघरुओं में बजती हूँ, सांस सांस करती हूँ, अपनी बेहयाई की और मेरी बेरिदाई की लोग खींचते हैं तस्वीरें, करके लोग तदबीरें, अपनी मर्जी करने पर मैंने गोलियां खाई, बेकसूर बेमतलब, हाँ यही तो मजहब है, तार तार आंचल है, टुकड़े टुकड़े कंगन है, कैसा रक्षा बंधन है, कैसा रक्षे बंधन है, मैं कि एक औरत हूँ, कितनी बेहकीकत हूँ, मैं कि एक औरत हूँ।
Beautiful, बहुत ही प्यारे. So I must say that the similar thought which I presented, I didn't know that Zakia ji is already, she has recorded similar type of poem, but obviously that was a little bit, she take it to the other side as well. Being a woman, it's not very hard, it's not very easy. It's been a hard journey for us to just come where we are now. So Zakia ji की beautiful गजल, मैं खुशी की मंजिल पर पहला कदम रखती हूँ, साज की सदा हूँ मैं, अपनी मर्जी करने पे मैंने गोलियां खाई. So what a wonderful poem by Zakia ji, and I'm so delighted, I'm so proud that she was introduced to us, because we don't know many people which we are supposed to know, but that was one of the name which I'm very glad that we know her today today, this afternoon anyway. So now I'm gonna shout for Sadaf if she's here. So we will invite her. If she's not, so we will continue with other shairi, and I'm gonna invite. I will see our next. Yeah, Hameshji. But if Sadaf is not here, I
Sadaf is
will.
not here,
Sadaf
and
is.
Rubina, if you want to recite one or two of yours before handing over to Harmesh, is that okay?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Zakia, it's been like such a beautiful and a peaceful and full of learning afternoon that I will have an opportunity. Sadaf, you are missing out. You don't know it. So now I'm just changing in the little bit of atmosphere with my. It's again Urdu poetry, but it is like more of a poetic, romantic a poem again. So it called Dori Zindagi. Its title is Dori Zindagi, matlab ye कि duplicate life, something like that. But I will recite it first. So अर्ज किया है, दोहरी जिंदगी नाम है. दो घड़ी की बात थी, दो घड़ी की बात थी, तुमसे कही न जा सकी. बहुत हसी थी दास्तां जो लिखी न जा सकी. वक्त को न दोष दो, हम में ही कमी सी थी. और फासलों के दरमिया गुर्बतों की कमी न थी. आओ फैसला कर ले किसको कितनी चाहत थी. और चंद लम्हे ठहर गए थे, चंद लम्हे ठहर गए थे और जिंदगी में ढल गए थे. एक जिंदगी के बीच एक और जिंदगी रही, हंसी रही जवा रही, सभी से पर नेहा रही. तुम न कह सके तो फिर जिंदगी बदल गई. सो ये एक कह सकते हैं आप पोएम थी. और इसमें ये है कि एक लाइफ वो होती है विच इज़ वेरी अपेरेंट. लोग देखते हैं एंड पीपल जस्ट रियलाइज हु इज हु एंड व्हाट शी और ही इज डूइंग. बट इनसाइड maybe every human being, or even not every, most of the human being have something in their own self which is hidden from the world. So maybe this is like duplicate life, but still that's the real thing which you don't want to show it to the world, but still it's a part of yourself. So it says this poem says कि it was just a 2 minutes talk. It was just a few gesture, maybe not even talk. It was just a gesture. If those gestures were passed within two people, life would be a different thing because you didn't say a word. I don't have a word from you. There is a lot of distance between you and me, but still, it feel like a very near and very dear to me, who is even live far away. So now we have to decide. आओ फैसला कर लें किसको कितनी चाह थी. Let's decide today. If I'm far away, if I have nothing to nothing to remember, but still love is everywhere within myself. And now I need to know, is the same love is on your side as well or not? Because my life has been changed because you didn't say anything, or because nothing was happened, but uh, you didn't say, and now life is altogether a different. Because life doesn't stop. If you can't stop at one place, so life is, life keeps going on, but still life just changed the track, and sometimes this track is not very delightful or very pleasant, but still you have to keep on going, and everybody does that. So a little bit of one more thing, और उसके बाद I will invite my other participant. And this is like a girl. This is about a girl who is like 17, 18 years old, and she always like remain in thinking because she's in the age where she doesn't have like particular or very sound and solid ideas about the life and about herself as well. But there is something going on. So this says, just imagine 17, 18 years old girl. And in this poem says, Gumsum rehna, kuch na kehna. some people are very shy as well. They think a lot, but they can't utter a word. So गुमसुम रहना, कुछ ना कहना, थोड़ी पर उंगलिश टिकाकर पहरों उसको सोचते रहना, शब भर एक ही करवट के बल बाजू सर के नीचे रखकर पलकों को आंखों पर गिराकर कट ऑफ होकर दुनिया भर से याद रही बस एक ही बात, कुछ सोई कुछ जागी रात, और जाने कैसा जादू था, दिल बस बेकाबू था, बेखुदी में झूमती गाती, दिल की दुनिया की शहजादी, ख्वाबों में यूं मस्त मगन, Zami ho jaise Neel Gagan. So that was Doshiza, and that was another poem of myself, uh, uh, a young girl thinking about the pleasure and beauty and love and a life ahead, which you can maybe imagine. Just she is thinking of herself around the thing and about the age, which is obviously very, very important at some point. So that was it from my side, and I took a little bit of time from Sadaf didn't turn up. And before I invite Harmesh ji, and I just say a few words about him. जो languages होती हैं, they are all beautiful. But one Urdu शेर is like, उर्दू है जिसका नाम हम ही जानते हैं दाग, सारे जहां में धूम हमारी जुबान की है. We think our language is beautiful, but today, this afternoon, we are thinking every language has its own beauty, its own sweetness, its own glamour, even words, pronunciation, style is perfect. So today, I'm just convinced that every single language is beautiful. So without further ado, I need to take a sip of water.
Totally agree with you, Rubina. Every
Hannah?
language is beautiful. Every
Yeah.
language should be respected equally, mashallah.
Equally, mashallah. And it was so, surprisingly, like astonishingly, that we were just listening. That's the best thing this afternoon. So, with your permission, Kesra, now I'm inviting Harmesh Manghra ji. And before I ask him to say a few words, I want to introduce him. Harmesh was born and bred in Kolkata, India. After completing his bachelor's and master's degree in English literature from Punjab, he migrated to the UK in 1977 after spending a short stint in retail and service industries. Hamish trained as a teacher and taught ESOL in industry to mainly Asian workers. So after 18 years teaching English to speakers to other languages, ESOL and multicultural education, he rose through the managerial ranks to become a an acting principal of an adult college in Western Midlands. So, after referring from offset in August 2020, Harmesh took up the position of Director of Change and Quality Enhancement of a local further education college to put his experience as an inspector to good use to improve learners' experience. And in June 2023, Harmesh was appointed as a governor of Leicester College. So he was appointed a governor. So Hamesh has extensive interest, but his main passion is literature and further education as it transforms public lives, particularly those who didn't have opportunities in their lives for a variety of reasons. Apart from being a fluent Punjabi and Hindi speaker, Hamesh used Urdu, Gujarati, and Bengali routinely to converse with the main Southeast Asian diaspora. So, without further ado, here is Harmesh ji. Harmesh ji, welcome. Sat Shri Akal.
Thank you. Sat Shri Akal, Namaste, Salam Alaikum,
Walaikum Assalam.
Namaskar. It's my pleasure to join you, and I think a bit of trepidation. I have enjoyed Mushaira, introduced by our friend Kasim Butt from Kenya, people in Pakistan, the Barut Ki Haveli, Salahuddin. So, been listening to that. It's been really very, very enriching experience. I was really touched by Leila's input to all this, fakirs who actually go out and they've been cast off, but they've been revolutionary. So I think been learning a little bit about Ottoman Empire and Rumi as well. So it's been really very enriching cultural experience. I'm really grateful for Kesra for keep pushing me forward. And this is my first experience of reciting poetry. Okay, I haven't recited before, so
It will be
it's nothing
fantastic.
like being it's nothing like being, just by fire, baptism by fire. Okay, well, I enjoy poetry. I love poetry. So the other day we were in Nehru at the Nehru Center listening to 134th birth anniversary of Rabindranath Tagore. So, languages have to be listened to, learned so that they stay alive. And I'm trying to now get that input into some kind of artificial language and get translated into English so that young people can learn about about their culture as well, which is very similar in many ways. It's all about humanity. But thank you. The theme today has been about girls, and I think I'm going to say something about a friend of mine, or rather, a friend of my wife's, Dr. Aparna Pradhan. She is a poet and she's an artist, she's a painter. So she is somebody who's very, very well acknowledged in India, Aparna Pradhan. And she's written a book called Naritva, Naritva Ka Astitva. Naritva is the womanhood, and Astitva is character. So it's about that, and in that sense, she's written quite a lot of poems, and I've chosen one, which is actually following on from Zakira's poem. Mera asli roop, my real self. मुझे कमजोर समझने वालों, आओ तुम्हें मैं अपनी शक्ति दिखा दूं. मुझे लाचार बेबस समझने वालों, आओ तुम्हें मैं अपना असली चेहरा दिखाऊं. मेरा आत्मबल तोड़ने वालों, आओ खुद पर विश्वास करना सिखाऊं. Atmwal is your self-confidence. मुझे पिंजरे में कैद करने वालों, आओ तुम्हें आजाद होना सिखाऊं. मेरे पंख कतरने वालों, आओ तुम्हें उड़ान भरना सिखाऊं. मुझे अंधेरे से डराने वालों, आओ आशा का दीप बन तिमिर हरना सिखाऊं. मुझे नीचे गिराने वालों, आओ तुम्हें आगे बढ़ना सिखाऊं. मेरे सपने चकनाचूर करने वालों, आओ तुम्हें ख्वाब देखना सिखाऊं. मेरी हिम्मत तोड़ने वालों, आओ तुम्हें अंगारों पर चलना सिखाऊं. मुझे बुझाने वालों, आओ भीतर छुपी ज्वाला से जलाऊं. earthquake inside me. मैं आज की सक्षम नारी हूं. I'm today's woman. आओ तुम्हें सूरज की हथेली पर उठाना सिखाऊं. सूरज को हथेली पर उठाना चाहूं. I'll teach you how to lift your hand, lift sun on your hand. I thought that was a very powerful poem by Aparna. I call upon you, Rubina, to translate some of the phrases, but you probably got the drift of it.
No, I can. Yeah, I can. Yeah, because that's my language, and that's very, motivational, inspirational. That if we don't, the people think that women are weak and they don't know what to do in their life. But just think that I am a big inspiration. I can do anything. I can tell you how the word is working, and I can even teach you. People think that women can't do anything. I just suppose that the idea behind this poem is that people in general think women, they don't know anything, but basically they can teach people what to do and how to move forward in their life. So she has given different examples: how to stand up, how to go up, how to raise their voice, how to be a good person, and everything is within a woman's inside. So don't underestimate women. That's a very good selection of poem, by the way, Harmesh ji.
Thank you.
This is a women empowerment.
Yes, yes, it is. I think
Yeah.
she's been decorated for that. She's been
Yeah.
2022 Bharatiya Kala Vibhushan Award, Indian Art Promoters,
Wow.
and she's been given Golden Book of World Records. So, she's got a lot of about 10 or 11 awards behind her, and she's very, very
Yeah. So
inspiring woman.
acknowledgement
I'm
is,
really inspired
yeah.
to meet her. Yeah. And I did say that I'll probably read one of your poems at one of the events. So, it wasn't
Yeah,
it
go on.
wasn't going to be this event, but I'm really pleased that listening to some of the other speakers, I thought this was the appropriate choice for me, and I hope you like it. And there are
Irshad.
other poems, but depending on the time, the other poet I have chosen is Shiv Kumar Batalvi.
Okay.
I've
Little bit
chosen
move
Shiv
it
Kumar
for, yeah,
Batalvi.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, like this. Yeah, that's
Shiv
fine.
Kumar
Thank you.
Batalvi.
Mhm.
Is Punjabi poet, born in brought up in now Pakistan, and then he moved
Okay.
to Batala, which is near Punjab, in Punjab, near Amritsar. And I had the pleasure of listening to his poetry.
Wow.
So he was a young and upcoming poet. In 1969, I had passed my matriculation, went to local college, and he was invited. Shiv Kumar Batalvi was invited by Sant Singh Sekho, who himself was a poet and a writer. He was the principal, he had his connections, so really promoted him. So I had the pleasure of listening to him. And quite a lot of his poems have been sung by ghazals, sung by Jagjit Singh and other artists as well.
Really? In
So,
Punjabi?
yes,
Okay.
and this is a big collection over the years. The, the most touching things he says is that, he said, I asked God to give my life to my poems. So he died in 71, but his poems are still alive, admired. Thank you. So he really touched me, and I think
Oh.
poem, the one that I've chosen is Man Mandir. So everything is in your Man and Mandir. That's everything. Everything comes from
True.
your heart. So
True.
he celebrates that. Balwani mere man mandir diye jyote. The sparkle, the light. Please carry on burning. Hasri mere sohol dile diye kaliye. My tender heart, the kali is the little flower that comes, and then let it blow. Tak takni o neem unnabi tuga. Neem is a neem tree. When the wind flows and the dust goes up, look at those. Ah, una vich noor ho raliye. Let's go there and become part of them. Runjun tutkan saj samiri. Jun chankan bij srindi suki faliye. Sri is a tree when it's dry and he makes a noise. Let's be that. Far bagan havama mal khushboiyan. In the air that comes, let's just massage
Wow.
the khushbu is beauty and the beautiful color smells. Ah, ina sang dur kite tor chaliye. Let's go somewhere far. Oh, wake nahi. ਬਦਲੀ ਲਲ ਵਿਬ ਜਹੀ ਉੱਠਦੀ ਬਦਲੀ cloud ਜਿਉਂ ਦੂਰਾ ਘੁੰਡ ਕੁੱਡੀ ਕੋਈ ਪੰਜਾਬਣ ਆਈ in the tradition ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਔਰਤਾਂ they are made to wear double ਘੁੰਡ ਤੱਕ ਦੂਰ ਦੁਮੇਲੀ ਤਰਤ ਅਰਸ਼ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਗਈ ਤੱਕ ਦੂਰ ਦੁਮੇਲੀ ਤਰਤ ਅਰਸ਼ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਗਈ ਜਿਉਂ ਕੁਟਣੀ ਰਾਧਾ ਸੰਗ ਸਾਂਵਲੇ ਭਾਈ ਉਹ ਵੇਖ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਾਈਆਂ ਕੱਢ ਲੈ ਬੰਬਲ ਬੂਰੇ ਹਾਏ ਵੇਖ ਸਾਉਣ ਦੀਆਂ ਝੜੀਆਂ ਧਰਤ ਨੁਹਾਈ ਸਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਝੜੀ ਮੌਨਸੂਨਸ ਧਰਤੀ ਨੁਹਾ ਦਿੱਤੀ given bath to the earth ਹਰ ਧੜਕਣ ਬੜ ਮਦੰਗ ਹੈ ਡਗਾ ਡਗ ਵੱਜਦੀ ਹਰ ਸਾਹ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਜਦੀ ਆਪ ਜਾਪੇ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਨਾਈ ਅੱਜ ਫੇਰੇ ਕਹਿ ਕੋਈ ਅੜੀਏ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਮਲਕੇ ਅੱਜ ਪ੍ਰਭਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਨ ਦੀ ਅੱਜ ਧਰਤੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਨੱਚ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂਡਵ ਤਾਂਡਵ is a sort of dance which Lord Shiva seems to known to have dance ਅੱਜ ਪਾਰ ਜਿਹਾ ਦੱਸਦੀ ਹੈ ਪਾਕ ਹਯਾਤੀ ਅੱਜ ਹੁਸਨੀ ਅੜੀਏ ਕੱਚ ਕਚੋਈ ਦੀਣੀ ਅੱਜ ਇਸ਼ਕ ਦੀ ਅੜੀਏ ਪੱਥਰ ਹੋਈ ਛਾਤੀ ਅੱਜ ਰੋਟੀ ਹੈ ਬਸ ਜਗ ਦਾ ਇਸ਼ਟ ਮੁਨਾਰਾ ਸਿਰਫ ਰੋਟੀ people just work for the food ਰੋਟੀ ਅੱਜ ਮਨੁੱਖਤਾ ਤੋਂ ਮਹਿੰਗੀ ਮਿਲੇ ਚਪਾਤੀ humanity is less than a chapati ਮੈਂ ਆਪੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਡੋਬ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੈ ਬੇੜੀ ਮੈਂ ਆਪੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਡੋਬ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੈ ਬੇੜੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜੱਚਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਅੜੀਏ ਹੁਸਨ ਕਿਨਾਰੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਰੱਬ ਤਾਂ ਉੱਡ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਤਾਰਾਂ ਗਿਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਰ ਕੀ ਕਰਨੇ ਸਨ ਅੜੀਏ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਤਾਰੇ ਕਦੇ ਪੂਰਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਅੜੀਏ ਪੱਛਮ ਕਦੀ ਪੂਰਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਅੜੀਏ ਪੱਛਮ ਈਸਟ ਕਾਂਟ ਬੀ ਵੈਸਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਰੰਗਪੁਰ ਕਦੇ ਹਜ਼ਾਰੇ ਰੰਗਪੁਰ ਐਂਡ ਹਜ਼ਾਰਾ ਵਿਲ ਰਾਂਝਾ ਹਜ਼ਾਰਾ they won't meet ਤੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਚੱਕ ਵੀ ਆਪੇ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਬੌਰੀ is mad ਕਿਸੇ ਚੰਨ ਭਲੇਖੇ ਫੱਕਦੀ ਪਈ ਅੰਗਿਆਰੀ ਜੀਨ ਜਾਣ ਕੋਈ ਆਖਰ ਕਦ ਤੱਕ ਲੋੜੇ ਜੀਨ ਜਾਣ ਤੱਕ ਕੋਈ ਅੱਜ ਆਖਰ ਕਦ ਤੱਕ ਲੋੜੇ ਮੌਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਟ ਜਾਵਣ ਮੈਂ ਚਾਹਾਂ ਡੋਲ ਮੈਂ ਚਿੱਟਾਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਡੋਲ ਮੈਂ ਚੱਟਾਂ ਕਦ ਤੱਕ ਹੰਝੂ ਖੋਲ ਕੇ ਪੀਵਾਂ ਕਦ ਤੱਕ ਆਹਾਂ ਸਾਥ ਵੀ ਦੇਂਦਾ ਕਦ ਤੱਕ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਾਥੀ ਅੰਤ ਲੰਮੀਆਂ ਹਨ ਇਸ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਰਾਹਾਂ ਇਸ਼ਕ ਦੇ ਬਣ ਜੋ ਕਹਿ ਕੁਛ ਖਟਿਆ ਜਿੰਦੇ ਦੋ ਤਤੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਦੋ ਠੰਡੀਆਂ ਸਾਂ
ਵਾਹ ਦੋ ਤਤੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਦੋ ਠੰਡੀਆਂ ਸਾਵਾਂ ਕੀ ਬਾਤ ਹੈ ਆਹਾਂ ਸਾਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਆਹਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ
It's a great collection of poems. I was very lucky. I was at a festival and I asked my friend to bring this book for me. And this is a very rare book. It's available from Jalandhar. And I'm fortunate. I can read Punjabi. So it's all the poems that he wrote, even after he died, they were been put into a collection, very rare collection.
Yeah, they are rare. They are beautiful. They are meaningful, and such a great word. So I think I will thank you, every one of you. Thank you, Harmesh ji, for presenting such a nice selection of poetry, and it was such a pleasure. Honestly, it was a pleasure to host and listen to everybody today at Eid celebration with Multilingual Mushaira by MACFEST. Kesra, you are a lovely person. You are arranging such you are doing a great job. And do you want to say, we are not closing this Mushaira today, but Kesra, are you there? Do you want to say a few words?
Yes, I'm here, Robina. It's been a marvelous Mushaira again, multilingual poetry. And I'm so glad that we had the international input. And of course, Harmesh ji, beautiful poetry. And I'm glad because I can understand Punjabi and I can understand Urdu. And even use the word wa, which we normally use where it feels live. And then the best part it is we have people from different language and different background. It's bringing them all together. Otherwise, you have your Mushaira with the Asian community alone in their own little world. You have the Arabic alone, the English alone. Here, we've got created a little world. and everybody's getting to know each other, language, respect, and hear the sound. And above all, it's beauty. Poetry is evocative, it's poignant, it's heartfelt, and people explore issues, ideas through it. And it's just one of those feasts for the soul, as I would say. And I want Jerome to say a few words if you want to finish off. How did you feel, Jerome, for the first time you've been part of this?
Oh,
Listening
it's
to all these.
wonderful. Yeah, it's fabulous. It's lovely listening to both the work. The multilingual poems were wonderful. But yeah, I've just been sitting here listening to the beauty of these words, even though I don't understand them. And it's really lovely. So thank you so much for letting me be part of it.
Thank you so much. Excellent. And thank you, Salma, for joining us and representing Huddersfield Festival. And of course, all our wonderful, lovely, lovely poets here. I just noticed, though, we only we need to recruit more men next time. It happens to be a women's panel today. And lots of women. You've done a grand job, but I'm always looking for variety and diversity. I thought next time we'll have another man. We have
Never mind.
but we had a host, Jerome, as well.
Yeah.
Inshallah. It's one of our biggest panel, is one of our most highlighted panel, and it's also a panel that takes up a lot of my time, but I think it's worth every bit of it. And both of you done a grand job. Jerome, for coming in first time, and you've done it brilliantly, and same for you, Rubina, as always, in hosting this. So I want to thank everyone for joining us on a Saturday, giving up your time. And now I'm going to hand back to my lovely Katarzyna, who will just remind us what else we have in store. Thank you, Steve, for hosting all of us. And thank you, our audience, of course. Some of them, like Karen B, all the way from America, joined us for both the panel and all the others. It is truly an international panel. We've got people from around the world. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful to you all for taking part in MACFEST. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Over to you, Katarzyna.
Alaikum salam.
And Urdu or Punjabi either. However, just listening to the sound of your voice or to the melody was an amazing experience. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure today. Before we go away, I just would like to remind everybody we've got the Arts Awards process open. If you are an artist or a creative based in England and your work would qualify in one of the 4 categories, drawing, painting, calligraphy, or photography, you can submit up to 2 artworks through MACFEST website. Submission process is free. You've got nothing to lose. Let us see your works. You might qualify for a group exhibition at the University of Salford, or maybe even one of the 4 awards. And we've got a few events coming up. Again, we've got Woman Muslim Ruler literary event on Sunday, 18th of May. Then we've got a youth event celebrating cultural heritage on Wednesday, 21st of May. And then we've got another online panel, Ecological Wisdom of the Islamic Gardens of Paradise, on Sunday, 25th of May. So do join us. Thank you. That's all from me today. Thank you so much.